Some artists spend decades chasing success. Others reach the mountaintop and simply walk away.
We look for love, no time for tears.
Whether by choice, circumstance, or forces beyond their control, these performers left fans wanting more. Here are 10 musicians who retired far too soon. Number 10, Sid Barrett.
At the top, smacking cigarettes in the pocket, feeling good at the top, shopping at shops, walking.
With Pink Floyd, he recorded the first 3 singles and their debut album, The Piper at the Gates of Dawn, in 1967. Of the 11 songs on that record, he wrote 8 and co-wrote another 2. He was 21 years old and already rewriting the rules of psychedelic rock. But through late 1967 and early 1968, his behavior became increasingly erratic, driven by heavy LSD use. He detuned his guitar on stage until it was unplayable. He refused to perform. On January 26, 1968, the band was driving to a show in Southampton. Someone asked, "Shall we pick Sid up?" Someone else replied, "Let's not bother." That was effectively the end. By the early 1970s, Barrett had left the music industry entirely. Pink Floyd went on to release The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, and The Wall, all without the man who started it all. Number 9, Cat Stevens.
Oh, baby, baby, it's a wild world.
More than 100 million records sold, and some of the most enduring folk rock ever written. His albums Tea for the Tillerman and Teaser and The Firecat were both certified triple platinum in the United States. Hits like Wild World, Peace Train, and Father and Son made him one of the biggest artists of the early 1970s. Then, while swimming off the coast of Malibu, California, he was swept out to sea and feared for his life. That near-death experience sent him on a spiritual journey. He formally converted to Islam on December 23, 1977, taking the name Ysef Islam the following year. In 1979, he auctioned his guitars for charity and left his career behind. The world lost one of its finest songwriters for over 25 years. He finally returned in 2006 with the album An Other Cup, his first pop record of new songs in 28 years.
On a moon shadow, moon shadow, moon shadow.
Number 8, Bill Withers.
Hey, I ought to leave the young thing alone, but ain't no sunshine when she...
3 Grammy Awards, a catalog that includes Ain't No Sunshine, Lean on Me, Lovely Day, and Just the Two of Us. Yet by 1985, the man behind some of soul music's most beloved songs had completely vanished. His disdain for Columbia's executives, whom he called blacksperts for trying to control his sound, played a major role. He refused to re-sign with any label. Finding success later in life than most, at 32, he said he was socialized as a regular guy who had a life before the music. He simply didn't feel the need to keep recording once the joy was gone. When asked about touring again, his response was blunt: "What else do I need to buy?" He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2015. He never returned and passed away in March of 2020 at the age of 81.
I'll help you carry on for...
Number 7, Peter Green.
I know that a woman is rolling every day and night.
B.B. King once said he was the only guitarist who gave him the cold sweats. He co-founded Fleetwood Mac in 1967 and wrote Albatross, which hit number 1 in early 1969. Man of the World and Oh Well both reached number 2. But by 1969, his bandmates noticed changes. Heavy LSD use was taking a toll. He grew a beard, wore robes, and became consumed with guilt over the band's wealth. On April 11, 1970, Green told the band he was leaving. His final gig with Fleetwood Mac came on May 20th. He was later diagnosed with schizophrenia and spent time in psychiatric hospitals. Meanwhile, the band he built recruited Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, and Rumors became one of the best-selling albums in history. Green never saw a penny of that success.
Might not give the answer that you want me to.
Number 6, Rick Astley.
Never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you.
40 million records sold worldwide by the age of 27. His 1987 debut single, Never Gonna Give You Up, hit #1 in 25 countries. The follow-up album, Hold Me in Your Arms, went platinum in multiple territories. He was one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. Then, in 1993, he walked away from all of it. The pressures of the pop machine wore him down. He grew frustrated with how the business side overshadowed the creative side. He has said in interviews that he didn't feel his personality suited being a pop star. So he chose family life over fame and stayed completely out of the spotlight for roughly 7 years. He eventually returned around 2000, and decades later, the internet gave him unexpected immortality through the viral phenomenon known as rickrolling. Before we continue, which of these retirements surprised you the most so far? Did you grow up listening to any of these artists in their prime? Drop a comment and let us know where you are watching from.
If there's anything you need, all you have to do is say.
Number 5. Lauryn Hill.
Who I had to get right.
5 Grammy Awards in a single night. That was February of 1999. Her debut solo album, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, had already sold millions and was named Album of the Year, the first hip-hop record ever to win. She was just 23 years old and widely regarded as the most talented artist of her generation. Then she essentially disappeared. She later said she had to step away when she realized that for the sake of the machine, she was being way too compromised. Her MTV Unplugged 2.0 appearance in 2001 featured raw, unpolished performances that confused mainstream audiences. She never released a proper follow-up studio album. One of the greatest debut records in music history remains her only one.
I came to see him and listen for a while.
Number 4. Grace Slick.
I once knew a man, you know he lived down in the...
As lead vocalist of Jefferson Airplane, she was one of the most iconic voices of the 1960s counterculture. The band's 1967 album, Surrealistic Pillow, made them one of the first Bay Area bands to achieve worldwide recognition. Somebody to Love and White Rabbit became anthems of a generation. She later fronted Starship, scoring 2 #1 hits with We Built This City and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. She retired from music in 1990. Her reasoning was famously blunt. She said, "You can do jazz, classical, blues, opera, and country until you're 150. But rock and roll is really a way for young people to get their anger out." Performing songs about feelings she no longer had felt pointless. After walking away, she built a second career as a visual artist, painting portraits of legends like Janis Joplin and Jerry Garcia.
We can build this thing together, standing strong.
Number 3. John Deacon.
Are you ready? Hey, are you ready for this? I'm standing on the edge of your seat. But don't wait.
The bassist who wrote Another One Bites the Dust, one of the best-selling singles in history. He also penned You're My Best Friend and I Want to Break Free. With Queen, he helped sell over 300 million records worldwide. But when Freddie Mercury died on November 24, 1991, something inside Deacon broke. He participated in the Freddie Mercury tribute concert at Wembley Stadium in 1992 and made a handful of appearances through 1997. Then, he stopped entirely. He walked away from one of the biggest bands in the world, completely shunning all reunion activity, the Bohemian Rhapsody biopic, and all public life. Brian May and Roger Taylor continued with other vocalists, but Deacon wanted no part of it. He chose silence, and he has maintained it ever since.
By my side, I don't want to live alone.
Number 2. Linda Ronstad.
Are you really? Are you no good? You're no good. You're no good.
11 Grammy Awards, multiple platinum records. A voice that moved effortlessly between rock, country, pop, and traditional Mexican music. Her 1974 album Heart Like a Wheel reached #1. She paved the way for artists like Sheryl Crow and the Eagles, whose founding members once played in her touring band. For decades, she was one of the most dominant forces in American music. But something was wrong with her voice. She noticed the deterioration starting around 2000. She performed her final concert in 2009 and announced her retirement in 2011. Shortly after, she revealed she had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, later reclassified as progressive supranuclear palsy, a condition that robbed her of the ability to sing. One of the greatest voices the world has ever known was silenced not by choice, but by nature.
We're gonna let it. You won't ready, kick your shoes off.
Number 1. Cindy Birdsong.
It's so short, put the present time in hand.
Before joining the biggest girl group in history, she sang with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. In 1967, she replaced Florence Ballard in the Supremes, one of Motown's most celebrated acts. Fame was never Birdsong's ultimate dream. She left the group twice during the 1970s, and after retiring from music, she pursued her true calling. She went back to school, earned her nursing credentials, and took a position at UCLA Medical Center. No comeback tours, no tell-all memoir, just a woman who traded the world's biggest stage for a career helping others. Sometimes retiring too soon isn't a tragedy. Sometimes it's a different kind of calling.
Long out and all